heart of extreme sound radio.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're now tuned into a reasonable conversation on Nusound Radio 92 FM. Many thanks to Kiran for a great Gujarati show. I'm Prerna and I'll be with you till 1 p.m. Hope everyone enjoyed the show last week where I was joined with Dr. Amjad Abu El-Ez and we discussed Israel and Palestine. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. The sun's shining and also it's Vaisakhi too, so hope everyone's having a great Vaisakhi. Today I'm joined by a very, very special guest, Dr. Rami Ranger. Rami is the chairman of Sunmark Limited and Sea, Air and Land Forwarding Limited. Rami has been recognised by Her Majesty the Queen 7 times, 6 times for business and once personally for community service. In 2005, Rami was made a member of the British Empire for his services to British business and the Asian community. Rami co-founded the British Asian Conservative Link and is a founder member of Hindu Forum Britain. Rami also set up Pakistan and India UK Friendship Forum after the 7/7 and 21/7 bombings off the London Underground. Rami is also the chairman of the British Sikh Association and the president of the Punjabi Society of the British Isles. He's also a supporter of many great charities. If anyone would like to speak with us on air, the studio number is 0208 472 9292 and you can text us as well on 07961 387 787. You can also tweet us at nusound92fm or write to us on our Facebook page. Rami, many thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure and an honour to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Prerna, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here and to speak to your listeners.
Thank you very much. How are you today on this lovely weekend?
It's a fantastic day, bright and very good weather, and especially Vaisakhi. We are celebrating, and all the listeners, a happy Vaisakhi. This is a great day for the many communities, Sikh community in particular, but people in India gather harvest around this time of the year, so everyone is celebrating.
Definitely, and there's also another reason to celebrate. Congratulations, I read that you've received a Business Personality Award on Friday.
Yes, from the Asian business people, and that was a great honor once again to be recognized by your own community for the services or the business we do. But again, you know, the honors are not for one person because there's a team of people supporting that person. So every honor I receive is a tribute to my team who support me and who help me. You know, a community, you know, person like me is like a flag. You see a flag from distance, but you don't see those invisible wires supporting that flag, keeping it upright. So therefore, behind every successful person, there are many other people contributing equally for their success.
Definitely. And I mean, you've done so many amazing things for the community and so many amazing things for business as well. I mean, tell our listeners a little bit about your journey and how you started.
My journey has been a very humble one. I have a very humble beginning. I'm a posthumous child. My father was assassinated in 1947, 2 months before my birth, because he was totally against the division of India on the basis of religion. You know, he warned the then Muslim leader not to cut and run. The British are known for their divide and rule policy. Now it is becoming divide and run. And if we create separate countries on the basis of hatred for one another, then it will be very difficult to remove that base. We will never see peace in the subcontinent. Unfortunately, his predictions have come true. So he was assassinated while he was trying to save 600 students of DAV school Multan who were caught up in communal riots. So there you are. So we left Pakistan on a refugee train and arrived in a refugee camp in Patiala. Thank you to Maharaja Patiala who opened a refugee camp to receive all those people who were uprooted thanks to the colonial policies. And we still haven't seen peace from the day we got separated. So that's the story. So I came to UK in 1971 to do my law. I wanted to be like my father, bar at law, but unfortunately I had no money to continue with my studies, so I decided to take odd jobs and then to return to India. And then, you know, I worked very hard. I started my career working for restaurants and this and that, but I done very well and I was promoted very rapidly. And I stayed in a fast food chain store for 6-7 years. I became the district manager and I lost track of my studies, and 44 years down the road. I still haven't completed my study. One day I will, and hope I'll go back.
Oh, excellent. But your journey didn't end in India. You then came to Britain.
Yes. Now, it's very difficult to go back once you're here because your family is here now. They're all born here.
Definitely.
And, your roots are here. Those people who look back cannot look forward. So I'm very proud to be British citizen. I'm very proud and loyal citizen because loyalty is a prerequisite for success. People who are not loyal to their employers, to their country or to their families, they don't do very well. So I remain a very loyal citizen to my country, India and Britain.
Definitely. I think we can have both. We can be fully from citizens from India, but living in Britain and be British as well.
Absolutely. There's no contradiction. Loyalty, a loyal person can be loyal to his friends, loyal to his supplier, loyal to his customer. Loyalty is a very good word, and as a loyal person, you will always be respected.
Definitely. I mean, it's very important having integrity within yourself.
Indeed.
And so when you set up your businesses, did you face many struggles in the beginning?
Oh, yes. Because you see, today, the Asian community is very successful, very respected, and people are bending backward to lend money to Asian community because they have now track record of success. And before, when we came in 70s, it was a different scene altogether. We were just arriving. We had no track record. There were people, just mostly laborers, and people didn't have. And also at that time, India was also a very struggling country. And now India is shining. And with that, we also get respect because when your countries are shining, it is reflected on you. Now everybody's queuing to do business with India. But then we worked very hard. I can tell you because we were not born here. The English was not our language. The color was not, the right color. So many things were. Our food, I can just tell you how far Britain has come. In 70s, they couldn't stand our food, curry. They felt it was not very good. But today, thanks to the attitudes of people, now they can't get enough of curry.
It's a national dish.
It is a number one dish. That just shows that you can't keep good people down. So we worked very hard. We demonstrated that we are an asset. We're a loyal people. We work very hard. We take less money, less holidays. We give you less trouble. And then the result is in front of you that today, wherever you go, people are ready to do business. And when I started my business, because I didn't have capital, so I opted for service industry because in service industry you don't need much capital, like a doctor, accountant, solicitor. You're selling your services. So I started as a freight forwarding company. My job was to collect people's cargo, people's excess baggage, household good, and get it packed and ship it to their final destination. And that's what I was doing. I was just taking my commission from there. So I started from a shed with just capital of £2 and a 40-pound typewriter.
Oh, wow.
And then we worked very hard because, excellence endures long after everything else is forgotten. If you give people good service, if you go to a shop and you give them a service with smile, you are polite, people remember. So I was very conscious that my reputation travel on their cargo. So I have to make sure that they have a product, these items have sentimental values. They have a photo album, their wedding albums, their books. I will take very special care to make sure that these products arrive or their goods, personal belongings arrive intact without any damage or without any loss. And the result, with the word of mouth, my business just grew and grew and grew. People were calling me, look, I'm buying product from John Lewis, I'm buying from Harrods, I'm buying from Marks & Spencer. Can you collect them, pack them, and ship them back home? So that's how I started. And then, luckily, somebody was importing food stuff from the UK. So my job was to collect food products and then ship them back to supermarkets in Africa, Middle East, and all that. And then I always try to think very deep because it's always good to think deeply and understand the logic. And if you understand your subject very carefully, then you can get more out of it. So I was thinking, I said, why people buy branded product? They always come, give me Heinz, give me Kellogg's, give me
Yes.
McVitie's, And then I realized that brand is a trust. People have developed that trust over a period of time. When they walk into supermarket, they pick up the brand they trust. They don't have the time to work out, or there's a better product on the shelf.
It's too risky sometimes.
Too risky. So they will pick up the brand, and then also the quality has to be maintained.
Yeah,
because people will never become a good friends if the person is not good himself or herself. So therefore so this quality was essential. The brand was a trust. So I said, if I was to replicate this, I have the product, same quality product, have very exciting brand names, and put them in nice packaging, and have the prices very competitive, because the brands cost a lot of money, because the big companies spend a lot of time on marketing, advertising, distribution, labeling, and they have huge expense. And I was now selling those products in developing countries, small countries like Malta, Gibraltar, Cyprus, Mauritius, Seychelles, Maldives, all these small countries which big companies do not want to go because the market is too small for them. So for me, it was enough. So I went to these companies and asked them can you give me your product under my label? Because I don't want to pay your marketing cost, advertising, sales force, distribution. Because I'm taking this product to remote part of the world where your television ad has no meaning, your sales force has no meaning. So I was able to get, like Marks and Spencer have their own label product, much cheaper, but the quality is still the same, or Sainsbury product. So I was able to get same product 30 to 40% cheaper.
Oh, wow.
So I took them to different part of the world, but the names were very exciting. English Breeze, Royalty, Golden Country, Pure Heaven. So these brands like Bulldog, so these brands were very exciting then. Not unlike supermarket, they give you Tesco's own value, whether you're buying butter or you're buying bleach. It's Tesco's. I said, I don't want to patronize my customer. I want to give them nice name.
Yeah.
Biscuit have a different name. Bleach will have a different name. Air freshener will have a different name. So, it feels good.
Yeah, and when you associate a product with a name, you kind of feel the name as well. So like with Pure Heaven, Bulldog, you think it's going to give you energy. You think you're going to, be drinking something really nice.
Exactly. It could be the same product, but the name, if I say Tesco value, I'm actually telling people that you can't afford a better product.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes? So I'm insulting my customer. I said, I'll give them Pure Heaven. You have a better product. Anyway, so we started those product and we worked very hard in sampling because, people, hidden talent is no talent. So our aim was to give as much sampling as possible. And people were surprised because they bought them thinking they will not taste. But when they found the taste was exactly the same, and we knew that people acquire taste.
Yeah.
You cannot give them something different. If you're used to PG tip tea, you will only enjoy PG tip.
That's
if I give you some other Lipton, you may not like it. If you're used to Lipton, you may not like Tetley.
Yeah.
So we were very particular that we had to give them identical product in taste, quality, but it was under our brand, so we could save that marketing cost and pass the benefit to people. And people buy Mercedes, people buy Toyota. Lot more people buy Toyota because the price wise.
Yeah.
So because our prices were 30-40% cheaper, we were able to capture much bigger market. And as a result, our business grew from 95 when we started to this time to 200 million turnover.
That's fantastic.
And then it was growing over 30% a year and year and year and year because people beginning to realize that these products have quality. And this is why I said excellence endures long after everything is forgotten. People will not remember how much they paid for their shirt or jacket or clothes.
Yeah, if the quality's there, they'll always remember.
They will remember the quality. So that was golden rule. And then, a lot of people used to come to tell me, Rami, why don't you make this product in China or Turkey or India or Thailand? I say, who is going to come to England to buy Chinese product? I'm based in England. I have to sell what England is famous for.
Yeah.
So that little thing can make difference. There are a lot of people who buy imported product and then it doesn't matter. People can go to China direct. They don't have to pay double the cost of Chinese product buying from UK.
No, definitely. There's lots of emphasis now on buying homegrown products, British products, and supporting British businesses.
So Her Majesty has been graciously pleased to give us 5 consecutive Queen's Award, and
That's fantastic.
unprecedented. No other British company has that record. And so it's a really a humbling to be honored in such way by the Queen of the country. And then they appreciate, because I export to 115 countries. With export, you generate a lot of jobs. With import, you destroy jobs.
Yeah.
So we are export-oriented company, and the rest is, as they say, the history.
Yeah. And what was it like meeting the Queen for the first time?
Oh, it was, you can imagine it, growing up in India as an immigrant. I saw on television her coronation and this and that, and and for me, when they invited me first time to give me the honor, it was in 1999. I took my battered car, and I was allowed to drive straight through the Buckingham Palace with my wife. My wife was smartly dressed, and I parked the car. And as she got out, and the policeman came, he said, "You can stay with the car here." Because he said, "Who has come in this battered car to meet the Queen?" But again, my philosophy is not to spend money which I haven't earned.
No, definitely. It's a very good, philosophy to live by.
A lot of people, they just try to show off. It doesn't pay.
Especially if you get into debt as well. There's no point.
So when I said to the police officer that, "Look, I'm coming also." "Oh, sorry, sir, you come." So I went up there, and it was such a great experience for me to come face to face with the sovereign head of this country. And she was so graciously, gracious. She entertained, she talked to everybody, shook hand, and we were really treated like a royalty.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so inspiring to hear.
I said to somebody, "I'm so honored to be here." One of the guy who was standing there, he said, "No, we are here to honor you for what you do for the country."
No, definitely. That's amazing. I mean, we've got a text message in. We've got a text message in from Valji Bai from Ilford. He said, "Well done, Dr. Rami ji. Well done for your great achievement."
Oh, thank you, Valji Saab. I'm very grateful. All the blessing of friends like you help me, inspire me, and motivate me.
We've also got a text in from Jatinder. He said he's trying to start his own business, and your stories really inspired him. What advice would you give him to help him, carry on setting up his business?
Jatinder, advice is be the best amongst the rest. Always do a little bit more than the guy next door. My book is out, From Nothing to Everything. It's available on Amazon and on the eBay or iBook or whatever. So if you want, you can read that book, or you can contact me anytime, and I'll be happy to give you guidance. But whatever you do it with pride. Take interest that it is for your own self-respect. And as I said, my beginning is very humble. I didn't have a father, elite education, family wealth, or the old schoolboy network to help me in life. But what I had was 5 things, and these 5 things are on your fingers. First is self-respect. You have to have self-respect that what people will think of me if I do a bodgy job or a bad job. You have to have a total commitment to work. Those who watch the clock instead of their work continue to do so, while the others who watch their work surge ahead. You have to have vision also, very important vision. Without vision, we are headless chicken. We don't know which way we are going. You also have to have work ethics, that you can't have an attitude, "I'm all right, Jack." You're ripping off your customer, you're giving them bad product, bad service, bad prices, because if they don't succeed, you don't succeed. And the final is empathy for others. You have to feel for others that, look, if I was in their shoe, what will I do? Well, how will I be treated? So therefore, you have to empathize with your customer, your supplier. Don't delay their payment, pay them on time, because if they can't trust you with £100, they can't trust you with £10,000. So these are all basic things. We are born with these things, but we never use them. So you don't need a rich family or elite education or old school boy. What you need is you have it in you, and you just try to be the best whatever you do.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I hope he's found that helpful. Darsim Singh has texted in. He said, "Thank you for bringing such an inspiring man." Thank you very much, and happy Vaisakhi to everyone.
Happy Vaisakhi to Samji, and thank you very much for your kind word. People like you make me what I am. You're a great man. You make small people feel great.
Not small at all. And so you mentioned you've recently released an autobiography of yourself, From Nothing to Everything. Was this book something you've always wanted to do?
No, I wrote it because I saw riots of 2010 where people were burning shops, hard-earned, people's livelihood were being attacked by these people who thought that it's their divine right to have something for nothing. And I was so shocked. I said, when we came here, we worked hard. We didn't give anybody lip service. We demonstrated to them that we can deliver, we can work hard. I work 7 days a week, 15 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
In the beginning, because my mother was a teacher and she instilled the right values in me. He said, never be embarrassed of hard work or whatever you do. But you should be embarrassed of when you're cheating people or you're stealing something or doing something bad. That's an embarrassing thing. But even if I'm cleaning streets or cleaning cars, I have started, my career as a car cleaner. I'm proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not take advantage of people. I didn't, try to wrong foot somebody. But that's what I said, that you do not need anything, but you have your qualities. So my humble background is helped me.
No, definitely. And keep your texts coming in. The number is 07961 387 787. You mentioned earlier that your father, he was assassinated. Do you think that experience has kind of given you more strength and determination?
You see, my father died for the right reason. He died for Hindu-Muslim unity.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't die for a bad cause. His cause was that we should remain united. Together we are a great force. And because the British want to break us, because they know countries created on the basis of hatred, they will always be fighting with each other.
No, of course.
So because they are ahead of us. So, but my father was a visionary. He has a book also, Don't Break Up India.
Okay.
Because India is not a shop which you can divide between brothers. India is a motherland.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can be happy by breaking your mother, and you can see what is happening in our subcontinent. We are suffering. We have got an arms race. We can't afford to give clean water, medicine, education to our citizens, but we do have the latest technology weapon to destroy each other. It's a total madness.
Yeah.
And I hope someday the leadership will look at a bigger picture rather than looking at their own ego, and their own selfish interest. Because the people are suffering on both sides of the border because they have no voice, and there are people exploiting them. There's a corruption in India, corruption in Pakistan. It's terrible. So we need leaders with vision, because a community is as great as its leader. As nobody's born bad, nobody's born criminal, nobody's born racist, nobody's born intolerant.
Yeah.
But the people make you by feeding garbage day in, day out. So stay away from all these negative people, because they have an agenda. They divide and rule.
No, definitely. I mean, I recently did a show a few weeks ago on extremism with Joe Siddiqui, and I also mentioned earlier that you have set up the Pakistan, India and UK Friendship Forum, and this was after the London bombings. I mean, what types of work is going on behind the scenes to tackle extremism?
Well, you see, perception of people is a main cause of misunderstanding. That you have perception about someone has perception. We have to change this perception by meeting with each other. I have so many Pakistani friends. I get on very well with them. I was born in Pakistan, so basically they are same people. But unfortunately, because of the legacy of colonial rule, we got separated in 1947. But we share same history, same food, same culture, same language,
so many
same everything.
similarities. Yeah.
So our aim is to celebrate what unites us rather what divides us. And all those people who use religion is a force for good. Religion should unite mankind, not divide mankind. But these leaders, they deliberately use religion to create a wedge between people, because that's their agenda. If they can't divide, they can't rule.
No, it's true. I mean, what do you think we can do as a community to stop this from happening?
Well, we as a community, we don't allow people to bring their hidden agenda of hatred. I mean, if you're parents, you got to keep your children away from these kind of forces, because here I am, honored by the Queen 7 times, business in 115 countries, with nothing. Not because I will never allow anyone to influence me with religion, because I find some, in my own community, there are fanatics also, we want this. But I tell them, when Guru Gobind Singh never asked for a separate kingdom for himself, why do you want one? Are you a greater visionary? Do I follow you or do I follow my Guru? So they shut up. So therefore, people are clever. You have to be cleverer. So therefore, you have to stop your children going into wrong country, because they say you're judged by the company you keep, and you always choose your friends very carefully.
No, definitely. I think that's a very good piece of advice. We have Bharat Parmar who's on air. Hi, Bharat. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. What a wonderful program you got.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ranger is very inspirational. I heard it a few times. I think on radio probably the first time. So congratulations to New Sound Radio once again, bringing some really good talk to the much wanted knowledge of the East Londoners.
Thank you very much.
It's very important. I'm fascinated about what he said about his childhood and the 5 principles. Because even in Sikhism, the Panch Pyare is important. 5, our hands have got 5 fingers. And I think if you can remember those, as somebody who had almost similar humble background back in streets of Bombay, and went on to gain my university education and worked in the Middle East, I can reflect a lot of it. I'm certainly going to read his book. But I just wanted to ask Dr. Ranger, if I may, you hit the nail by saying that there are fanatics in all communities, and your work and your vision is very laudable in terms of making sure that we don't let that fester in our community. However, recently, I believe that one of the Labour MPs raised the subject of the 1984, said the tragic story of the Golden Temple and trying to involve, an SS advice, which the then Prime Minister has taken. And some of the Labour politicians, I believe, were just sort of making a very good headway to that. And personally, I believe that that kind of media coverage is not warranted to the well-educated and harmonious sort of situation in this country. So what's your opinion about that?
Bharat, thank you very much for taking the trouble of calling.
No problem.
I appreciate it. First thing first, look, we cannot condemn India. India is above political politics. That was India. It's our motherland, our country. We grew up there. We fought for its independence. We work hard. So if a handful of people do something wrong, we should attack them, not the whole country, because country had nothing to do with what happened in 1984. Yeah. It is a very sad indictment of the system that until today, culprits have not been brought to book, because if you don't bring them to book, you send a very wrong signal that, look, you can get away with murder. In fact, they have got away with murder. And if you know the Sikh history, they were created to defend the basic human rights of every Sikh. They were not created to have a kingdom or to rule people. They were there to liberate those who were being oppressed and suppressed in the name of their religion. So they prayed supreme sacrifices for India, and to treat people that way, the way the mob attacked them, hard-working people. My 2 brothers who were in the army, they were attacked. They were very disturbed. We say, here we are, ready to die for a country, and the people are trying to kill us. So it was, the system failed, but the Prime Minister has apologized. I think we have to draw a line under 1984 as we draw a line under 1947. If we keep looking back, keep opening up old wounds, that will damage our psyche, that of our children, and we will not be able to achieve what we are destined to achieve. So I think things are desirable, at times they're not practical. It is desirable to have justice, it's desirable to have, but what can you do now if we can't? But at that time we should not waste our beautiful life, just being, either we consume ourselves in hatred or live in harmony. And I think we should rather live in harmony and move on.
Very well said. Thank you very much for your call, Bharat.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Well, I think that's very true. When you open old wounds, they never heal, and you're always going to be looking back in the past with their hatred and anger. And we should unite. We're one. India is one country.
Not only that, because it will only damage your vision, thinking. It changes. Mahatma Gandhi. I'm a very big admirer of Mahatma Gandhi. He never used violence. He said, if your cause is strong, that is the strength of the cause is enough to defeat your opponent. And
definitely.
Look what he's done. And he believed that if you become violent, the violence remains in your system long after the objective has been achieved. So we should stay away from violence. We should stay away from hatred, because it actually destroys us more than it destroys other people.
Definitely, because you always harbour those kind of feelings and they stay with you for the rest of your life. So.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Keep your texts coming in on 07961 387 787. You can also call us at the studio on 0208 472 9292. I'll be back, so stay tuned for more talk with Dr. Rami Ranger. Hi, this is Prerna. Join me on A Reasonable Conversation every Sunday from 12 to 1, talking about important issues and hot topics on nusound Radio 92 FM. Welcome back to A Reasonable Conversation on nusound Radio 92 FM. Today with me is a very, very special guest, Dr. Rami Ranger. Hi, Rami. Welcome back.
Thank you, Prerna. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you here. We've got another caller, Manji Patel. Hi, Manji. How are you?
Hello, Prerna. Manji here. Just to say thank you for a very informative interview. My good luck and best wishes go out to the nusound Radio and Ramiji's hard-working teams for the auspicious Vaisakhi. Ramiji, you are my inspiration. Congratulations. Well done. Keep it up.
Manji Bhai, Jai Shri Krishna, you are my inspiration. That you are such sincere. You always make a point to make me feel happy with all your positive comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Manji. Thank you for your call today.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, that's a lovely phone call.
Indeed.
I mean, you're an inspiration to so many people.
They're very kind people. People who are nice, they always see nice things in other people.
No, definitely. And before, when we were talking, you mentioned you're quite involved politically. You helped set up various organisations within the Conservative Party. I mean, what inspired you to be involved in politics?
Prerna, as a community, we have to make our place in a country where we're going to live, our next generation is going to live. It's very important. They said that be the change you want to see, Mahatma Gandhi said. So I wanted to make sure that we have role models in Parliament. We have people serving in the defence service, in police forces. We should take part in every aspect of British life. We are no longer immigrant. We've been here 30, 40, 50 years. More than half of the population is born in UK. And for us to think that we are still immigrant is fallacy. So I wanted to make sure that we are more public spirited and politically motivated. But when I looked at it at that time, I'm going back about 20 years, I looked at two parties. There was a Labour Party where every Asian was going, and there was a Conservative Party. The Conservative Party was perceived to be the party of rich and elite, and the Labour Party was party of working class, and they were a lot more friendly because they were working class party. And so then I said, okay, I want to see if there's anybody in the Conservative Party, any Asian MP. And when I found there was not a single Asian MP, and I said it's very wrong in a democracy.
No, definitely.
To have a major political party which does not share opportunity with a growing number of ethnic population. But then I looked more carefully, then I realized where in business people headhunt, they go out of the way to recruit people. There in politics, people often undermine others to surge ahead.
No,
they
definitely.
don't give you a chance. So therefore, one person could not find the system. You had to break the mold of a party which was set 100 years ago. They were all busy looking after their vested interest, but it was so important that we should also have our representation, because the laws will be made by the party, Conservative Party or the Labour Party, which will affect us, where we will have no input. So then, about 15 years ago, we set up British Asian Conservative Link. We said one person cannot do it. Let's be a group of people. So we have very nice, dedicated people from every walk of life. They said, yes, we got to make sure that we get a representation in the party because, we are citizen. They say in democracy, everyone has a share. How come in a democratic party we have no share? So our aim was to change the perception of the party, that Asian community is no longer struggling. They are not, what you think. They are also doing very well, contributing much. And the Asian felt that the Tory party is a party for rich and elite. So to change the perception of one another, so we did many events, many functions to bring face-to-face people, Tory leaders face-to-face with the Asian community, So after struggle of 12, 15, 13 years, we now have 5 members of parliament from the ethnic background, so that way the Conservative Party has become stronger and Britain has become richer. We don't want anything special, but unfortunately, because if you don't have a lobby, you do not, there's a proverb that if you don't ask anything, you don't get anything.
It's true.
So we demanded, and the party realized, and the party then made sure that there were people who were blocking, Asian getting selected as a parliament candidate were chained. So things have now changed, and the party is totally inclusive. David Cameron has done a lot more to bring women, ethnic people. He wants to make sure that the Tory party reflect the makeup of modern-day Britain.
No, definitely. You can definitely see it happening as well. I mean, there are, I think, minorities in Parliament, there are women. So, it's a great job is being done behind the scenes.
So they say the longest journey begins with the first single step. So with my business, I took that step. With the politics, we took that step. With the Pakistan-India friendship, we took that step. If we do nothing, we achieve nothing. So we have to do something. It is my passion that one day in the subcontinent, there is like the European community, like a EU, free movement of people and goods. We have our own homes now. Pakistan is a sovereign country, is a member of United Nations, member of Commonwealth, member of SAARC. India is the same. They have exchanged High Commissioner as a mark of recognition of one another. They have different, currency. We have different currency, army. So we're all independent now. Once a country is established, it's very difficult to remove the country. So it is most important that we live as good neighbor, help each other, and whenever there's a crisis, let's say there's a flood in India, people from Pakistan should come and help, or vice versa. We should have people from Lahore should come to Amritsar to get their treatment, if there's a good medical center in Amritsar, and we should be allowed to go to Lahore and enjoy the finest cuisine you can get anywhere in the world, and the historical places. And being a Sikh, the Sikh religion is the only religion which originates from Pakistan. All our historical gurdwaras are in Pakistan. The birthplace of our prophet is in Pakistan, Nankana Sahib. So the free movement of people will generate billions of pounds worth of money, tourism. We don't need to take handouts from anybody.
Yeah.
They can keep the money. If we have good leadership, we can generate enough wealth by channeling our resources in the right direction. You can see Pakistanis, Indians, they shine wherever they go. America, Canada, UK, they work hard, they do very well. But back home we can do the same if the system is more friendly.
No, definitely, because I think united will be a lot stronger than always fighting each other, because by fighting each other all the time, we'll never get anywhere.
Yeah, I agree, because we have two countries, but that they were not made to be rival forever. They were made to look after people better. Let's look after people better then.
Definitely. I mean, peace and stability in any region reaps so many benefits. I mean, look at the UK. Our neighbours are all friendly. The European Union, we all work together. We all help each other with trade, economic ties.
Yes,
and we're flourishing.
And I think, we should not divide people on the basis of religion. If you have a country where there's a rule of law, everybody is equal, they are much better countries rather than where a country is systematically discriminating against a section of her own population on the basis of their religion. I mean, you're scoring your own goal. What difference does it make what food I eat, what clothes I wear, as long as I'm producing good result?
Yeah, and unfortunately in Pakistan, the population of Hindus there, I know, have been decreasing dramatically, and Christians as well are being persecuted. And it's such a shame.
You see, this is not the fault of the government. It's just few handful of people, they do. Because, if you look at the religion, every religion has a strength. The religion was there to do good, but the people use religion to, to spread hatred, really. I feel very sad that this is happening.
Definitely, and if our listeners are listening to this and want to get more involved with community work and helping a better understanding between Pakistan and India, how can they get involved?
Very important that you celebrate each other's function jointly as a mark of respect. When there's a Eid, go and, I go to my friend, I have fantastic biryani. You go, and whenever there's Diwali, you invite your Pakistani friends. So they come, they will enjoy each other's hospitality, and all that perception that we are a threat to one another will just disappear by having people-to-people contact.
No, definitely. I think by being friends with one another, it kind of eliminates so many different understandings.
Absolutely.
Misunderstandings, rather, because I had a friend who was Pakistani and she was born in Pakistan, and her perception of Indians were completely different from the reality of it. And we became quite good friends, and she actually realised that we're not so different after all.
Indeed. I have the same. I have so many Pakistani friends. When we sit down and we just can't, we don't even think at that time that he's an Indian or I'm Pakistani. Just we're same.
And that's how it should be. We've had a call in from Durga Das. He said the name for the Golden Temple is Harmandir Sahib. Also, well done for your achievement, and thank you very much for all the hard work you do for the community.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for correcting me. That's right, Harmandir Sahib. But everybody in the West knows there's a Golden Temple, and it's a fantastic building, and if a place of worship. Where people come from all walks of life. If you know the history of Harmandir Sahib, the land was given by Akbar, Maharaja Akbar, to the Sikhs because he saw them praying and having a food together. He was very impressed. He said, "Well, who are these people?" He said, "They're Sikhs. They meet and they praise God, and then they have a communal langar." They say, "Okay, they should be given land." Then the foundation stone of Harmandir Sahib was laid, but then the Sikhs said, "Who is the holy man who will lay the foundation?" And then they went to Lahore and they brought Pir Mian Mir, a Muslim, to lay the foundation. That just shows the Sikh religion is an inclusive religion, is based on interfaith teaching.
Definitely, and at the moment the Sikh community are engaging a lot with the government. You were recently at Downing Street for Vaisakhi. How was it?
Oh, that was very good because the Prime Minister paid tremendous tribute. Some don't realize that because Sikhs are very modern religion, they take the best teaching of all the faith, and as a result, they are really progressing very fast. And our first, as I said, the most important thing, equality for women. Mm-hmm. Sikh religion gave equality to women from the day it came into existence. Because our Prophet said, "Why do you consider someone inferior who gives birth to prophet and kings?"
Exactly.
So equality for women, equality for religion, equality for caste, everybody is equal. So that we are not using our energy, we're not turning assets into liability. We're giving equality to people, and that's where the progress starts. And the Prime Minister was very complimentary about the contribution of Sikhs going back 160 years. And he was in particularly praised the Sikhs for fighting shoulder to shoulder with the Brits in two great wars and changed the course of many battles. Sikhs won more victory across than anybody else. Unfortunately, 84,000 Sikhs sacrificed their lives fighting for world freedom. 109,000 were injured, more than any community in comparison to their number, because Sikhs are very small, 27 million people.
84,000, that's a staggering figure.
Staggering figure for that community. But because, that's the way we have been taught, that's the way we have been conditioned to fight for injustice wherever we can find.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a caller on air. Hi, Johnny, how are you?
Yeah, hi there. Hi, Rami Ranger.
Hello, Johnny.
I must admit, I absolutely loved what you've been saying. And it's sort of like, if I was to liken you to a couple of people I've experienced in my life, I would say you're like a cross between Richard Branson and Tony Robbins. The Asian version, of course.
You're very kind. I wish, this is my ambition. When I grow up, I want to be like Richard Branson.
Well, you're definitely making a positive impression from my side. Now, also I wanted to ask you, there was a couple of things that you've said so far about how people are contributing towards society and the world. And obviously we're all exposed to fanatical people and negative people, and that we should keep our distance away from them. However, it's quite a difficult thing to do. Now, first thing that obviously comes to mind is, now back in, quite a few hundred years ago, the way Britain dealt with a lot of criminals, they just put them on a bunch of ships and shipped them over to another continent, obviously Australia. And they thought, okay, if the problem's out of mind, out of sight, it's not going to affect us. Now, what do you think we should actually do with all these negative, fanatical people? Now, as you mentioned as well, we had the London riots. People that want something for nothing, people that are not willing to work, that don't really want to input into society, but they're seeing the UK as a land of, paved with streets of gold, really, and they just want to claim all the benefits and literally have something for nothing. Should we kick them out? Let me just add to that a bit further. Mm-hmm. How can you actually rewire these people? How can you recondition them to think, actually, if you add value to society first, if you give value to another individual, you would potentially get that tenfold back in return? Because people are saying, no, I want society to give me something first, only then will I give something back.
Johnny, it's a very interesting point, and I will give you a very simple answer. They say for evil to flourish, Charles Darwin or somebody said, for evil to flourish, all it takes is for good people to do nothing. So we have to do something. People like you have to do something. We have to make a conscious decision, like I made a conscious decision to build bridges with the Pakistani community, because we now have one country, one queen. As a result, we have become one. If a Pakistani is doing something wrong or an Indian person is doing wrong, it affects us both. So we just can't live in Australia, I'm all right, Jack, the other community. So we are all in it together. So first thing first, I will appeal to parents, because children are God's gift. When the children are born, they are fresh like fresh water. Then we condition them, society condition them. If first thing first is to keep the family unit very strong. If a child is not loved, then the child doesn't know what is love. What he can't experience, he cannot impart. So that's number one. Number two is that we should allow our women to go out to work, go out to meet people, have bigger horizon to understand Britain what it is, rather than keeping them on the fringes of society and not taking advantage of what Britain has to offer. So keeping women closed up is scoring your own goal. So allow them to work, 2 income, 2 kids, you'll be able to give much better quality of life to children, than you won't resent. And the other thing is, if you have 1 income, 4 or 5 children, that's a recipe for radicalization. You will hate all those who are enjoying a better quality of life. So I think let's work, because they are not alien, although you can see the Australians have done better than us in many cases. But so people can be turned around when we fall ill. If, we can be cured. Similarly, people can be cured by right role model, right, by mentoring. I'm a fellow of Princess Trust. Last week I gave a talk to about 40 students, underprivileged students. Their eyes lit up when they heard my story. If he can do it, we can do it. So I think we should not just treat people as a foreign body. They are our people, and we have to really work on them.
Johnny, thank you very much for your call. Thanks.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Rami.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. The hour's gone by so quickly. Rami, you've been so inspirational, and it's been a real honour to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Prerna. The name suggests you're a motivational person. Yes,
well, thank you.
You motivate people. Yes, you brought me from the other end of London because of your motivation.
Thank you very much. It's been a real honour to have you, and you've touched so many lives and been so inspirational. It's just truly amazing the work you've done to help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope everyone's enjoyed the show today. Next show, I'll be speaking to Paul Uppal MP. He's the only Sikh Member of Parliament. I hope everyone has a great weekend and have a great Vaisakhi.